What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Scale News Update. If you're not familiar with the show, this is where we talk about the news topics that happened over the last week in the scale world of RC. If you enjoy the Scale News Update, make sure to hit the like button. This week, we've got a handful of topics. Let's jump right into them. The first topic for this week is a new release from Vanquish Products, and it's a refresh of the previous KMC Machete 1.9 beadlock wheel. This is a updated style, just changing the overall appearance a little bit, but the Machete was a popular option before, and it's been gone for a little bit, so now it makes a return with this updated style. These were released midweek last week with a limited number of colors, but as time goes, all of the colors that are normally available will be offered in this new style as well. If you're interested in these, I'll link to them in the description below, as well as all of the stories in today's news. Now, following that KMC V2 release, there's a new Dredger beadlock ring release as well. If you're not familiar with the optional beadlock rings that are available from Vanquish, they bolt onto any of the Vanquish wheels that use that 24 screw bolt pattern on the front. So that includes the Methods, the KMCs, or the OMFs. Any of those that have that bolt pattern on the front will allow these rings to bolt right up. And just like the V2 machetes, these are available in a small number of colors, but the rest of the colors are rolling out as time goes. These new beadlock rings are a super high detail with a recessed center section and windows cut out in between each of the individual screw holes. So super high detail on these. This is definitely a much more intricate beadlock ring than any of the previous styles that have been offered before. And then we finally saw everything on the Proline rock van. We've been talking about this thing for a few weeks. They finally released everything about it, and it's pretty much what I expected. The nose on this rock van is definitely not ideal. And the reason I pretty much expected it to be something like this is because of the location of the wheel on our scale trucks, as well as how much frame sticks out in front of those. To make that work on a van, you end up with this kind of funky looking nose that this rock van has. Less than ideal for, exact scale replicas, but still, it's a fun new option. Still gonna pick one up. Still looking forward to building some vans. That's gonna be just a whole new style. It's gonna make you kind of dig deep for style choices, just with how you're going to customize these things, other than just some, airbrushing style on the side. But if you actually want to try and get into tube work or things like that, it's gonna be hard to find good examples of other builds. So hopefully by Proline by the Fire, we see a lot of people living the van life. And at the same time that we saw the van release, we also saw the other rollouts from Proline with the Tough Body series. Now, these are molded from a different type of material that is a tougher material. So this is made to stand up to more heavy abuse or bashing. They released the Power Wagon body, which is something that we see on our scale trucks a lot. The van is offered right away in a tough body option. So if you're gonna try and mount this thing, well, even on some of our trucks, you can bash pretty hard with, but also if you're gonna try and fit that to other things, that might be an option. And then we also saw the No Prep Nova get the tough body treatment, as well as one of the monster truck bodies. So the one downside with these bodies though is that you're gonna have permanently blacked out windows. So if you really want to scale appearance, you're gonna have to cut out those windows, and that's definitely gonna take away from the toughness that this is. So I don't know. For bashers, I definitely see it. For the no prep side, I also see it. And in general, there's a lot of scale truck people who are just looking to throw a body on and go. If they can get one that they don't actually have to paint, they can throw some stickers on, maybe they're gonna be happy with that. Even with my aversion to painting, probably not something that I'd jump at too quickly myself. For those of you who are Axial UMG 10 6x6 owners, Axial is releasing a separate optional interior for that longer UMG cab. This is going to be Axial AXI 330001. And of course, I'll link to that in the description below. But now you can get a bolt-in interior that will drop right into that UMG 6x6 cab. Obviously, that cab is significantly larger than the UMG 10 that had the standard two-door cab. I was actually able to get a hold of a sample of one of these for a new project that I started last week. But this is going to be available in June for all of you owners. You'll find it listed on Tower already, I believe. And if so, I'll link to that listing there. You can back order it if you want, or just bookmark it for when it is finally available. I believe the retail is $19.99, so a simple option to kind of close up the interior of that UMG 6x6 and make that look a lot more scale. More on the no prep side, JConcepts released a new Grand National body. Now I'm a big G-body fan, so maybe I'm a little bit more critical, but this one kind of got a JConcepts treatment in a way. It's a decent looking body, but it's just not all the way there. It's just, they always go a little short on the details. The front bumper on this looks a little boxy. The proportions are just not that great. Love a Grand National or Regal. I just wish that this would have been a little bit more well done. It could have been my absolute favorite node prep body, but it's close. It's just not there. It's close, and if you're the biggest G-body fan, then maybe it's going to be close enough for you. And if so, I believe that you're able to get your hands on these really soon. And speaking of JConcepts, you SMT10 fans have got another body option for your vehicles. This is the JConcepts Junior Mortician body. That name is something else. I don't know why why did they need the junior part? Why not just the Mortician body? Maybe I'm missing something, but this body shows that it's made for a 12.5-inch wheelbase SMT10. So that would be like a short wheelbase conversion for the SMT10, as the stock version is significantly longer than 12.5 inches. It says this is an ideal body for freestyle, but regardless, this is a Willys wagon style to it. It's got big wheel cut openings. The whole rear they show cut out in the photos for the website, which leaves very little body material on the sides around those back corners. I'm not sure if the body is always intended to have that rear portion cut out or if you're able to leave it back there for durability and stability of the body in general. But again, it's got a very similar styling in the front to like the JConcepts Creep or the Bog Hog body that they had before. Gives it enough of a Willys style to be passable, but again, lacking in details. And then we got a new video from Tamiya this week, and this is the Volvo Globetrotter. This is that tow truck model that we saw, I believe, first shown at the Nuremberg Toy Fair. But this is a full video of it in operation. This is an 8x4 tow truck that's just a beast. Dual steering front axles, dual driven rear axles, and it's got, of course, the full tow truck accessory on the back. In the video, they show it actually functioning with an optional actuator kit that you can purchase, but otherwise it still actually has function even if you don't have the actuator kit installed. Just overall a really good looking model. This thing shows that it's gonna have a street price around $1,000. And the details show that this thing is going to start shipping in late June, so it's not even that far away. I have to imagine for people that are big into that 1/14 scale, big rig, area, that this is going to be a pretty cool model to have. I think the kid in all of us really wants to have one of these. But that does it for the actual news topics for this week. This week's question kind of came to me while I was looking at some of the news stories, and specifically that big tow truck. And I was just kind of thinking, man, I would love to build one of those. I think it looks like it would be a lot of fun, but I have a pretty good idea that I would probably never use it. And then got me, well, I was like, well, that doesn't really stop me. I've got a ton of rigs and I use such a small fraction of them regularly or even at all. But I thought for a question for this week would be, how many rigs do you have? Just total RCs. And out of those, how many do you think that you actually use? Like even once a year, not that you've used before, but how many do you use at least once a year? I'm estimating maybe I've got 40 RCs. And I'm guessing that there's about 10 of them that I actually use. Maybe I should thin some of that dead weight out, but you never know when you're gonna need it. But with that, that's gonna conclude this week's Scale News Update. I appreciate you guys for watching. If you enjoy it, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're not already, hit the notification bell so you see the videos as soon as they get uploaded. Thanks again for watching, guys. Hope you have an awesome rest of the week, and we'll see you on the next one.